It's always nice to start a new season of thinking tackle with a carp in your arms. This is a 24.5 pound common I caught a couple of hours ago, and in this episode we're at CMEX Sandhurst, an open access water, and that's the theme of the whole series. Every venue we go to are going to be places that anyone can turn up and fish. No season tickets required. Now, one on here is not enough. Gaz Fairham's fishing at the other end of the lake. He's already caught two, so I'm going to get this fella back and then move up next to him, and then we're going to look at all the tips and tricks for catching these stunning fish. I want to give you a little bit of insider information about this swim before I do move. It's called the Bailiffs, a very popular swim. I've done really well in here in the winter time because out there at about 65, 70 yards, there's a much deeper trough that runs all the way along this end of the lake, goes down to about 8 foot. And what you basically do, cast your marker float out, sort of just off of centre, a little bit left of centre. You'll feel gravel to start off with, and it'll be 5 or 6 foot. You pull it back, and it will start to go really smooth, and it'll feel harder to pull back, and that means you're in the silt. Pop the float up, it should be about 8 foot deep, and I fish just beyond it. So I'm fishing literally as the slope comes down. I've got all my hook baits positioned along there, and it was actually the middle rod that went last night, which was in the softest stuff, probably the deepest water. Now, if the fish were here in numbers, I would have got more than one in the night. So it's well worth moving down the other end. A lot of fish are showing, but if it was cold and the wind was blowing northerly rather than southwesterly, then the fish would be down here in more numbers and I probably would have got more chances. So a fantastic swim in the right conditions. So I'm going to get the rods in and get down next to Gaz.
There she is, really nice, clean, chunky 27 pounder. Managed to nick another one while Dan's been chasing around, moving his kit, trying to get in on the action, the fish that have been showing out in front of us. It's looking good here. It's a nice, gentle southwesterly pushing in now. There's been a few fish showing. It's the third one I've had this morning. I had a common just over 26 pounds and a really nice old warrior of a scaly mirror that was just over 26 pounds as well. So great morning's fishing. I've had all 3 bites on my little ever faithful single pop-ups, a couple of different colours and a couple of different flavours. So I'm going to talk you through that and how I've been fishing them in a little while.
Well, this gentleman has to take credit for getting me onto plastic hook baits all those years ago at Horseshoe, do you remember?
Yeah, I do. It's the same plastic, believe it or not.
Same, different pot though. I remember the pot
Yeah,
vividly.
they just get freshened up every so often.
Right, so they're still pretty pungent, are they?
Yeah.
Nice, but you're not using them here, I've noticed. You're using your own little pop-ups.
Yep,
So talk us through a few of the best ones that you've found on Sandhurst. And first of all, before we go into that, how much importance do you put on having something bright on the end? How much does it affect your fishing?
Massive. I've got to be honest, regardless of the venue that I'm fishing, whether I'm fishing over here, you know, on a day ticket water, or whether I'm fishing on one of the syndicates like the car park or some of the lakes I'm fishing in Ringwood, I almost always use a bait these days that's got some element of colour in it.
So even for the hardest to catch fish in the country,
yep,
You're still using a bright one on the end most of the time?
Yep. Out of the 9 fish that I caught from the car park, 8 of them were caught on a bait that was tipped with a little bit of yellow. And for me, I've seen so many things, and I'm 100% convinced that even if the fish aren't feeding that heavily, like sort of heavy enough to clear an area, if you've got a bit of colour on there, it will be one of the first bits they pick up.
And if the rig's right, then you're going to get a bite.
Exactly.
Right, so talk us through your number one for Sandhurst then.
I mean, for this place, and actually I've got to be honest, for a lot of places that I've fished in the last few years with this really bright fluoro red, it's just done incredibly well. It was just something, I got some samples a few years ago, knocked some up myself, and brought them here a couple of springs ago. Just started them with them on one rod, had my yellows on the others, got a bite on the red. Right. Don't anything of it, another bite on the red. Still not had a bite on the yellow.
Same attractors in both baits?
Yep,
Exactly. Same smell and
exactly the
else.
same,
Right, okay.
exactly the same. And they just did incredibly well.
Right, so what's in that attractor wise then? What would it smell like if...
I think that's another one of the key things. You know, they're a really kind of multi-dimensional bait, basically. You've got 6, 7 different attractors in there.
Let's have a little whiff and just... So that's a real citrusy, pungent, really fruity...
But what you'll notice is that it's not really anything you can quite put your finger on.
No.
And I think that's the thing, that's one of the keys.
It's a
kind of,
sort
that's it. Yeah. That's one of the keys, I think, to why they catch so well. I think a lot of single pop-ups, quite one-dimensional. It will be 6 mil of pineapple and a bit of sweetener.
Yep.
So you've only got one thing working basically, whereas in there you've got oil-based flavours, you've got EA-based flavours, you've got a couple of other different bases as well. So you've got things working on lots of different levels. Right. Things are dispersing quicker out of the bait. Some stay in there for longer. Yep. Some are going up through the column. Some are staying near to the bait. So you've got all kinds of different things happening. And I just don't think there's anything basically that the carp can single out and identify as a source of danger, whereas they can if it's just got that one label.
Right. And that although I take it you've done those yourself, have you?
No. They are the commercially available Northern Specials.
They're Northern Specials.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And then these same colour.
Yep.
But I'm guessing that's a different attractor.
It is. Yeah. That's just another little mix that I've knocked up myself. Just a little prototype. Completely different smell.
And that's very savoury, squid octopusy sort of.
It is. Yeah. You can't miss that one, can you?
No, you can't. No.
Absolutely classic smell.
But fruity as well?
Yeah, there's a little touch of fruit in there again, just to give it, and there's another couple of little bits in there as well, just to give it a bit of an edge. But again, it's a prototype, you know. I think the thing with the single baits is I've been doing it for 12, probably 15 years now, just experimenting myself and knocking different mixes up. Have a look at them.
Look at them little babies. They're gorgeous,
beautiful, aren't they?
And,
recognise that?
I think Mr. Hutchinson's got something to do with that one, isn't it?
A bit of Scopex.
A bit of Scopex and some. Nice.
Yeah, classic.
Very nice.
But what I've done here is I rolled up 2 different mixes, just 1 egg mix, keep it small, and then I put the paste together.
Yep.
So I've moulded the 2 together, put them through my sausage gun as if I was just making my boilies normally onto the table, rolled them on a 12mm roller, and you get the
creates that
flecks
raspberry
of
ripple
colour.
sort of
Yep,
effect.
that's it, you know. And I mean, it's just nice to have a little play. And I must admit, I get a lot of satisfaction from catching carp on baits that I've made myself. It's just a nice little, nice little edge.
And what sort of amount of time is that going to take you to do something like that?
Oh, nothing at all. I mean, once you've bought your flavours, you're looking at, I reckon, about an hour and a half out of your life. Right. Which is nothing. And
you're going to get a season's worth of carp in there.
Exactly, at least. I mean, I got out of the 2 eggs, I got probably 3 of those pots.
Right.
I reckon, which is easily a season's worth, unless you're catching stacks and stacks of carp, which hopefully you are.
Well, as the man says, an hour and a half's worth of work and a season's worth of fish. So that little bit of extra effort is going to get you a lot more bites.
Well, early afternoon, got to be honest, it's pretty chilly over here now. It was really nice this morning. It was really mild, just a little bit of drizzle, just a gentle wind blowing in. Wind's really picked up this afternoon, and to be honest, the temperatures have dropped quite a bit. I had those 3 bites. They were all this morning up to, the last one was roughly about 10 o'clock. Since then, it's all gone quiet. Seen the odd one show, but I've got to be honest, I think they've probably backed off this wind a little bit. Hopefully, wind's due to drop later from checking the forecast, and it's certainly looking to be a lot warmer tomorrow. So hopefully they'll drift back over here. Still well confident, I think, of another chance or 2, and certainly tonight once it goes dark.
Well, it's now middle of the afternoon. I'm fully plotted up in my new swim, second one of the sessions so far, called the Little Pipes. And Gaz, bless him, has put a marker float out and allowed me to fish as close to him as humanly possible. And fish have shown over the top of me and nothing has happened so far. I can't understand why. It does feel cold in this wind, but it is a southwesterly, so we can only hope that as the day drags on and the light intensity drops down a little bit, the fish start to feed. There's been a bite on the other bank off the back of the wind, but again fishing out towards the middle, so it looks like the move was a good thing to do. We'll just have to wait and see.